Co-creating impact. Hello there, I'm Lori with Co-creating Impact, and it's timesunshine.com. This is our friend and co-host for the day, Quebec medic Stephan. How are you? Thank you for coming on. We're going to talk about what's behind your mask.
Yeah, well, I'm doing fine. And talking about behind the mask, I'll take this thing off right now and bring it. We're going to have fun. We're going to teach you guys a couple of things. We're going to show you where I'm from, what's behind the uniform, and how do we cope with a couple of things in our daily work or the progress of a paramedic and things like that. So let's enjoy that. Have fun, people.
Yeah, and what I love, I met you on TikTok. You were doing a Duo Live with Music Man. I'd love to have him on too. But you were so good at explaining. You've been a medic for 16 years, and you talked about what it felt like to go from, a few years being a medic and the trauma and things that you saw and how you dealt with that to, later on, 5 years later, and what tools have you used, and can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, okay. Well, as a new medic, okay, usually you'll find out in the first, I would say, first 2 years if you are bound to do that job, because the thing you will see in those first years are going to be traumatic or not to you. You're going to see poverty, you're going to see debt from up close, you're going to see family being ripped apart because of the job you're doing. And the way you're going to react to those things is the way you're going to know if you are meant to do that job. After that, normally any paramedic, even if they don't say it, they will have a trauma during their career, either if it's accumulation or just bad dealing with it. The way I'm saying it, you have to find yourself some boundaries. You have to listen to yourself. When I say listen to yourself, it means, am I sleeping good? Am I eating good? Am I always on a bad temper? Those are things you need to focus on in a certain way to see, well, I'm not doing all right. And from that point, you need to fix it.
And what is it? How did you personally fix it for yourself? Did you do therapy? Is it meditation? What do you use?
Well, for me, I started by, first of all, talking about it with my peers, with people that know the job. And when I say know the job, my girlfriend is not in the field, so she does understand a certain point, but those image will not be totally comprehensive or known to the one that doesn't live it. So the first therapy of all is talk about it with your partners. If you have a bad call, don't hesitate, talk about it and tell them, I didn't feel good about that, or I dreamt about it a couple of days. After that, how I dealt with it, the story is one thing for sure. Sorry, my old employer was not really that conscious about the fact that we can be injured from the inside or not feeling well. That ain't true. We have to get the stigma down. But what I did is I started to, the first year are not the best one, honestly. The one when I coped with it, not realizing I had it. Well, my drinking went up. After that, I wanted to party a lot. I wanted to just take my mind out of it, which is not totally the best way to do it. But after a while, I said, well, there's a reason why I'm doing that. So I introspected myself and I went like, okay, that's maybe it. I didn't personally went to a therapist. The reason is I didn't find one that is, I would say, capable of dealing with what we did. I did talk to one or two like that, and I got the stigma answer that says, well, it's part of your job. It's normal for you to see that. No, it's not.
No, it isn't. No, it's not normal to see what you see as a medic. And that's terrifying that that's what that therapist said. Now, have you since found a trauma therapist or someone who works with trauma?
Not yet. I do have a few numbers here, but in Quebec, we have what is called La Vigile. It is a place specified for firefighters, paramedic,
Oh,
police
good.
officer, military. That it's I'll call it a safe house, but it's a place to go where therapists will help you to unwind, bring the crap you got inside out, not injure yourself. The rate of suicide in military is 22 a day, and it has to go down. But those number is not the same, but they are pretty high too in police, in firefighters, in medic, and nurses, whatever, that
Mhm.
field. And we're in 2021. We need to notice that there's things. The other thing I did to change is I left that company, and I was there for about I would say 13 years, 14 years, and I decided to slam the door. I decided to I'm going to move away. I went from a place that was an average of 5 to 6 calls a day to a place that is an average of 1 call a day. Nature is
Right.
surrounding me. That's the way
That you
I
get to
cope with it.
cope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And then, of course, there's always TikTok. You have a good laugh on TikTok, right?
Yeah, well, I do both. I know I make funny not movie, but videos.
Right,
I make
right.
funny videos. I also try to make a couple of positive one. I did one a couple of days ago. We had a big snowstorm here. Said to people, like, hey, it's
Wait a minute. Wait, you had a big snowstorm in Quebec?
yeah, never
No,
happened.
you didn't.
First time ever.
Oh, I love it.
But yeah, we had about 35 to 40 centimeters of snow. It was a
Okay.
blizzard. And next
Wow.
day, I did
Oh, a
another
big one.
video
Yeah.
saying, like, hey, see, I did a video yesterday. It was windy. You couldn't see. It wasn't that pretty. Look at it today. The
Hmm.
sky is blue. And added the message of saying, well, you see, a storm will pass.
I saw
And
that.
a couple of things like that I do. I did one in
That was
English and in
that,
French saying good
I saw.
morning and things like that.
Yeah, and that really hit home for me. I saw that video. It's like it's true. We have to wait for that storm to pass, and when you're on the front lines, like you are, and the firefighters and the police officers and the nurses and everybody who's on the front lines, it's difficult. And we're going through a difficult time now with the pandemic and things that are going on. What type of calls are you called to now? Are they different?
Well, we got a little bit more of health issues, people being alone, people being,
Um,
afraid, people that lost their job, and, financial issue will get in their mind. We're in a way, I consider myself to be one of the lucky ones. I still have a job to go to. I didn't have no paycheck cut, but there's a downside to it. I see more people being afraid. I see more co-worker being afraid, because of that pandemic. We don't want to bring that home, but we have to go to the calls. So it's more
right.
stressful for a lot of them.
And so, what was it like when you go to a call and you know someone?
That is one hard call. I did a few calls where I knew the person. I know for me, it's not really different because I treat every patient like if it was my mom, my dad, my brother, or my sister. No, I treat them the way I would be treated. And
Right.
whether if it's a frequent flyer or uh, someone that's kind of in a bad mood, being grouchy and things like that, I'll make them laugh. I'll make them smile. But it is different when you do deal with someone the effect in your brain is mostly a little bit harder for some. For me, it's not, since I'm treating every patient the same way.
And so when they see you, they maybe feel a little off-puttish, but you make them feel more comfortable. And
Well,
that's from your experience.
that's from my experience, and I do believe Dr. Patch Adams' theory that says that laughter is healing. And I do have a couple of sentences I say to my patients, and one of them is, "Don't do that again." You fell down the stairs. I come to your house going, "What happened?" "I fell down the stairs." Well, I'm be the first one to go like, "Well, don't do that again." You know,
Before you even get to the hospital, I'm just going to write this out. I know the doctor's going to tell you, just don't do that again.
don't do that again. See what happened? You break a leg.
I love that. So you bring humor into it. That's
I
fantastic.
try to. I try to.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not easy.
Uh,
But you were talking about, trauma and things like that. Newcomers in the profession, and it's normal. They want to see calls and things like that. Old timer like me, we want the less call as possible. That way, it doesn't pile up anymore.
right.
You have to notice that those things would get a toll on you. The first car accident you're at, you're like, oh yeah, cool. The 50th one, you're like, oh, okay. The 100 one, you're like, oh, I don't want to go there. Well,
Because you've experienced the trauma that's going to be coming up, and it's scary. And the new guy doesn't actually really see that, right? Until he gets involved and sees it over time.
they're doing it, from passion. I'm doing it from passion too. But when you're new, you need to prove yourself. You need to, okay, I'm good at it. I'm 16 years away. I'm not saying I'm not good. I say I know my stuff. I know where I'm going. I know what's coming for me. And you have to see and fight to see every time, positive in it. And it's going to make you last either the job or your life, because both, they do combine.
Right. And I bet you're really good with the newbies coming in, helping them handle the trauma and things like that.
Well, yeah, I try to seek them some old advice, back in my day, no, but,
Right.
but yeah, I try to circle them and to direct them to the right way, because I want them to last. I don't want them to regret the fact that they've been 3 years at school or something like that. My job as an old paramedic is to be sure that the young one will survive any way you can think of. I don't want that kid to call me and say, hey, I'm about to jump over a bridge. I don't want that kid either to say, well, that job stinks, and I want them to survive. So I'll give them the advice I can.
What kind of advice would you give a new up and coming medic?
Well, don't over expect of yourself. Listen to the old paramedics. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an old guy. There's one thing that's going to teach you in school. It's books, it's theory, but practice is another thing. Don't be afraid to talk about problems that you seem to have, and also do have yourself some out of job activity, out of job walks, friends. Don't stick in that bubble. Have people around.
Yeah, and what I understand is you do, and is this normal for most medics? You do a week on, week off kind of work?
Well, that's our schedule here, but there's a lot of places it's 8-hour shift. Other places 12-hour shift. They'll do 3, 2, 2, 3, so 3 on, 2 off. We have in Quebec what's called faction. You're going to be 7 on, 7 off, but 24 hours a day, paid 11.43 hours a day. Here, we got the schedule 12 hours, 1 12, 1 6. The rest is 12 hours, then 1 week off.
Wow. You, what kind of impact do you think you make on the world with what you do? I mean, the medic profession is, you are first on for the first one there. Like, it's amazing the impact. But what do you personally? I think I know the answer to this. What personally do you think that your impact is on the world?
I hope it's good.
I think
I just saw your timer, so that's why I'm not answering. Answer's going to be on part 2, guys. Bye.
Right, you saw that before I did. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. You're an amazing human and a great soul. Come back to our live on TikTok, because they're still here and we love you. Thank you.
No problem, and we'll do part 2 soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Brought to you by breaktherage.org and itstimesunshine.com, finding resources for health and mental wellness.